Life Lessons with Juvie. I am your host, JuvyThaKid. Life Lessons. Returning? What? I'll do a video next week explaining why this is happening and everything. But for now, I'm on a bit of a time crunch. There was a mix-up with timing and issues and stuff tonight. So instead of this being live, this is going to be pre-recorded. But in the future, we will do live episodes. So, this feels so good. Let's get to the topics. Little Jenny Wren. Holiday traditions versus the holiday itself. Which matters more? Honestly, I'd have to say the traditions. Because the holiday itself, whatever that might be, whether it's a Thanksgiving or Christmas or Easter, whatever it is, for a lot of people, the holiday more represents like a time schedule kind of thing. The tradition is what we always remember. We remember doing certain things with our family or with our loved ones. We remember, okay, this weekend we're going to decorate the tree, or it's certain things that when we do them with our loved ones, that matters more. So actually today it's a perfect example. So my youngest daughter, she lives with her mom, and I get her pretty much every other weekend, but we switch it up a lot. There's been times where I've gotten her 2 weekends back to back. Not important. But leading up to Christmas, we always do the tree when she comes over. It's a tradition. Now, with that, it's something that I look forward to because I get to decorate the tree with all 3 of my kids. We just pretty much get to sit back, give them decorations, and I get to watch them decorate the tree. Like, I have pictures going back a couple years now of just getting to watch my kids do this. It could be anything, but a lot of the times the holiday more represents the kind of like the time of year. Like, if you schedule to hang out with someone at 3 p.m. Well, think of that as like a calendar thing. So Christmas, just for example, since that's what's coming up, or Thanksgiving for the American hooligans. Those are times where it's not necessarily the holiday you're celebrating. It's the time where you're going to get together with your loved ones. You're all going to share a dinner. You might exchange gifts. But it's a time when you just spend time together to create more memories, to, again, experience these traditions that have brought you joy, that have given you things that you look forward to throughout the year. It's one of those things where, excuse me, it's one of those things where, at least to me, I don't know, I think it's easy for a lot of people just to look at what the day is and sort of just, I don't know, I don't want to say get defensive about it or have certain things that they like to say. We've all heard it. Oh, Christmas is just a commercial holiday, but it's not. It's a time where people that might not get to see family, or honestly even really get to talk to certain family a lot of throughout the year. These are times when we get to be together and once again experience these traditions. It's that little time slot in the year that we all get to, I'm looking for a certain word. It's a term I saw, I think it was yesterday. Intentional gratitude. It's times where you spend together and you consciously actually think about, things you are thankful for, the people that you love. It has nothing to do with the holiday. I mean, it plays a factor, but to me, the traditions, the experiences that you share and that you look forward to throughout the year, that's what's important, because those are the things that as you get older, you might not always look forward to Christmas or whatever the holiday is, but you look forward to, this time of the year, we're going to light our candles for the loved ones. We're gonna, have a feast together. Whatever the tradition is for you folks. I think tradition is something that you pass down. So even though the holiday might not be actively celebrated, those traditions are something you still hold dear and something that you want to pass down to your kids or experience with other people, share it with other people, because then they might bring it to their loved ones. Traditions are something that honestly, even if you look at like, I guess like time and stuff, like history, traditions are something that have always been around, and it was just adapted to fit certain like holidays or times of the year. So having a feast with each other and just being grateful for being around each other and getting to experience everyone's love with one another, and maybe it's exchanging gifts, or the one person usually is the one to cut the turkey. For some families that's a thing. Maybe one year it's, you call on one of the younger ones to be like, hey, why don't you come like cut the turkey? Or you show them how to do it. You teach them the tradition. So for me, I would say the tradition, like the holiday traditions, matter more. And the holiday itself just gives us a certain time slot of the year to be able to experience those. Because like I said, we get to pass those down. We get to share them with other people. You might hear about a different tradition that you've never done and incorporate that in your life, or it gives you an appreciation for something else about the holiday that you didn't really think about. So yeah, I'd have to say the traditions. Hamilfet, things you do to get your mojo back. This is something that I had to do. Like I had to figure out recently, even with getting back to the channel. So for me, honestly, it just got to a point where everyone's heard the saying, get out of your own way, only you are stopping yourself kind of thing. For me, it was one of those things where I had to just be like, okay, I need to get the fuck out of my way. Instead, if you wake up that day and you feel like painting, if you feel like writing, if you feel like filming or editing, whatever your creative outlet is or something that brings you happiness, just do it. Here's the thing. Excuses are always there. They're so easy for us to just be like, maybe tomorrow. But then tomorrow is another, maybe tomorrow. Maybe tomorrow. Before you know it, a month has gone by. If you wake up and you're like, I want to do this today. This is something I need to do for myself. Just do it. Even if you feel like you're forcing yourself to do it, once you're getting in that groove and you're getting like you are painting or creating something or filming, whatever it is, you forget about all of that. You're focusing on what you're doing, and it kind of brings that mood back for you. It brings that passion. It sparks that fire again to where you're already thinking about your next projects or the next things that you want to work on, or something that you might want to tweak here and there about this project that you're working on yourself. Honestly, things to do to get your mojo back: stop listening to the excuses and listen to your heart. Your heart is where that passion is, that flame that drives you to be creative. Or even if it's not a creative, like artistic thing, it might just be working out or something else that brings you happiness. Listen to the heart, not the excuses. Another thing, to me, I've started looking at other people, like what they're doing and certain creative ventures that they've gone into, or even just like personal fitness things that they've been doing. That's something for me that has inspired me, because it's not one of those things where I get jealous or anything. I'm just like, oh fuck, like that's really cool. Like I want to do something like that. Or it might inspire an idea, at least for me, and I want to take that idea and now run with it. So honestly, looking at other people and what they're working on, and then not saying like I ever looked at something and got jealous. I'm just saying, put that out of your mind. Don't get jealous about what they're doing. Look at what they're doing. If it sparks an idea in you, write that idea down so you don't forget it, whether it's in your phone or on an actual piece of paper, whatever it is, like a notepad, that is going to be something that now you can take and run with and see what you do with it. Like, other people have been a huge inspiration to me. And like, I don't know, just there's a lot of people there's a lot of people that I've been looking at recently and the projects that they did and what they've been able to accomplish. And I've just been like, fuck, like I want to do something like this. And it's just, I don't know. For me, I think that's just an important thing. Like, getting out of your own way, not listening to the excuses, and then finding ways that other people can inspire you. Not look at something and draw a comparison where it's like, well, I'll never be able to do something like that. Yeah, you can. Look at what they're doing. If it sparks an idea or something that you would want to do kind of around the theme of that, run with it. See what comes out. Because you have no idea until you at least try. So look at other people for inspiration, not for a comparison. And then listen to your heart, not your excuses. We got one more here. I just need to find it. Another one from Sir Hamilfat. How to deal with narcissistic superiors. I've been watching a lot of YouTube on this. This is a bit of a trickier one because if it's in a job setting, there's that fear of like, do I go to HR or whatever the higher up might be? And is that going to risk my thing? Is it going to bring me more drama at work when I really don't want to deal with that? And I totally understand that kind of stuff. But if by them making mistakes or doing something and then it's somehow always falling on your shoulders, that is something that you have to address, because dealing with that kind of thing is going to drag you down. Dealing with people in general that are kind of narcissistic, that they never do anything wrong. It's always on you. It's always on somebody else. Like, that's not something that can just always be let slide. You have to face that, and you have to go through the appropriate channels to, I don't know, in a way, like discipline it. You know what I mean? It is also one of those things where if you're afraid that you're going to lose your job because that's the setting it might be in, do everything you can to maybe ensure that you don't. I know that sounds like, oh, easier said than done, but if it's a case of being able to document everything, you write it all down in almost like a journal or whatever it is, especially if it's through emails or text messages, definitely screenshot that kind of stuff. Make sure you save them. But start documenting things like so-and-so let this slide, you know what I mean? Let someone, I'm trying to think of certain things that might go against the rules, but you know what I mean? If that kind of thing happens, make sure you're writing that stuff down so you have a document of everything that's been happening and how you were the one who ended up having to deal with it. Especially if those kind of things aren't in your job description, then you can't be held you shouldn't be held responsible for doing that kind of thing. And if it's a situation where you might be able to get a job somewhere else that's might be a better environment, or it's just at least better higher ups, then it might be worth taking that risk to try and get something done about the situation, but have a plan B where it's like, okay, if nothing happens from here, I know that I can go over to this place. It's hard too, because the whole, someone who's higher up than you just kind of it feels like they have control over everything you do in certain settings. And it's like nothing you do can make it better. But forcing them to kind of face their actions and face those consequences might be exactly what happens to make it feel better and to better the entire situation for a lot of people. Because it might be one of those things that once you start documenting things or talking about what's happening, you realize that there's more people having to deal with this as well. It's not just you. So now you have a group of people that are willing to kind of go against the I guess you could say, the evil of this, of the situation. You know, you're all going for the greater good. So yeah, I guess that would be my advice, is kind of force them to face their actions and have consequences for those actions. But also, if it's a job setting and you're worried about that, make sure you try to have a plan B in place. If you're lucky enough and fortunate enough to be able to, I don't want to say go without work, but if you can take like a little bit of time off between the jobs, or while you look for another like place of employment or whatever it might be, then definitely take that, because you know that you did something to try to better the situation for also other people around you. But now you also have some time to yourself, because in that time you might find something that gives you gives you an income, and now this might be an avenue that you want to travel down. I know a couple of people that are really, really creative, and they do really amazing like projects, or whether it's like I just drew a blank, sorry. Whether it's like miniatures for D&D and tabletop stuff, whether it's video editing and filming, whether it's making helmets for cosplayers, or even armor for cosplay stuff. All of that stuff can be an income for you. So if that's an avenue that ends up working out, well, now you have something else that you can actually do where you don't have to worry about going back to a regular job. You might be able to do something that actually makes you happy. You get to be creative, and it helps pay your bills. So it's a win-win. And again, folks, I don't claim to have all the answers here. I don't think that like whatever I say is the concrete advice. I'm just giving my thoughts on things. And hopefully somebody gets something out of it, and I can help somebody in the process. But yeah, thank you, little Jenny Wren, and thank you, Hamilfet, for the topics today. I'm going to make sure to thank people at the end of these episodes for their topics, because without having these topics and everything, there wouldn't be the life lessons. So, you deserve the thanks. Now, if you want to support the channel any further, links are in the description. There's the merch store. There's all that. Just go check it out. And yeah, any thoughts about the episode? Comment them below. It helps. I like to know people's feedback. So, mwah, 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 for you beautiful fat jays. All my quad kids, freaks, and weirdos, for the love of everybody, keep being weird.